WeatherScope.
A huge winter storm continues to disrupt many eastern states this morning. Flooding is a major concern in coastal areas that are being battered by rain, high winds, and heavy surf. Meanwhile, farther inland, heavy snow has been a problem. Good morning, everyone. I'm Bruce Edwards, and welcome to this edition of WeatherScope. We've got special coverage, including on-location reports. With all the details, here's Cheryl Lemke in the Forecast Center. Cheryl?
Thanks, Bruce, and good morning. We're still tracking a very powerful nor'easter that continues to churn its way along the east coast. And in fact, this is such a deep, intense area of low pressure that yesterday at Jacksonville, Florida, we had a report that that was the lowest low pressure area that they've ever had in that particular region. So the pressure is extremely deep, very low, and that shows you how intense this particular storm system happens to be. Well, right now the storm system is roughly centered just off the coast of North Carolina, and it continues to pump in a lot of moisture from off the Atlantic. And hence we've seen a thick canopy of clouds spreading from the mid-Atlantic, the Ohio Valley through the Northeast, and just a variety of weather conditions. It really depends where you are as to what type of precipitation you're seeing. Mainly a cold rain event, though, for most coastal areas with temperatures 30s and lower 40s. But farther inland, we start to pick up some ice and some snow and some really treacherous traveling conditions over parts of the Ohio Valley and likewise for western Pennsylvania. Well, we have team coverage covering this particular storm system. First of all, we have Kristen Dodd, who's in Massachusetts at this time, and Lori Geary, who's been up in Seabright, New Jersey, covering the storm all morning long. We first of all go to Lori. Good morning, Lori. What's the latest from New Jersey?
Oh, good morning, Cheryl. You know, we're still feeling the brunt of this nor'easter here on the Jersey Shore. Just a few minutes ago, we had a little bit of a break in the rain. It doesn't seem like that break was lasting too long. No break, though, in the wind, still gusting up around 50 miles per hour. We want to show you a picture of the water, the raging waters. The waves are up to about 4 feet, and the tides are about 4 feet above normal. We've had some beach erosion that you can see. That's on top of some beach erosion from last week's nor'easter. But the real problem has been the raging Shrewsbury River, which is about a quarter mile from here. It flooded earlier this morning, flooding right onto Ocean Drive, which is Route 36, the main route through town. More flooding, more beach erosion expected later this afternoon around high tide, which is expected to come around 2:30, 3 o'clock. Right now we're going to take it up to Kristen Dodd, who's in Winthrop, Massachusetts. Kristen, how are conditions up there?
Well, Lori, our conditions have deteriorated considerably, not so much that the overall pattern has changed here, but we moved since our last shot. We are now in Winthrop Beach, which was a little bit more exposed on the spit that we are now standing, which is in Boston Bay and also Massachusetts Bay, just off the shore from Boston. We still are seeing those winds whipping around that area of low pressure now, coming very strong out of the northeast, and you can see behind me what kind of effect that is having on the waves here as we are seeing them being funneled in and they're crashing here on the shore. At Logan Airport, we are seeing the wind gusts here at about 32 miles an hour, but here in the exposed areas right on the Atlantic Ocean, we are seeing those gusts up to that 50-mile-an-hour range that you're experiencing, Lori. That's really taking a toll on the temperatures. Our current temperature is at 32 degrees, but the wind chill feels about like 5 degrees below zero. And definitely a brutal time of it here in the New England coastline. Back to you, Cheryl.
Thanks, Kristen. We appreciate the update. Indeed, strong winds and heavy rainfall, that's been really a problem across most of the East Coast. And in fact, let's take a look at some of the rainfall totals that we've seen over the last 24 hours. Virginia Beach, over 7 inches. It is still raining right now around the Tidewater area. We had a report this morning from the Virginia Beach Police Department. There's been some street flooding, schools have been closed, and there have been some condos evacuated because of the threat for maybe that they may collapse into the part of the ocean. Now again, we see our storm system just off the coast, a really tightly packed band of isobars indicating stiff winds that continue to rake the east coast. Again, the rains along the coast, but ice and snow farther inland. We've had major problems this morning over Connecticut. A band of freezing rain persists. Places like Bradley Field, Hartford, New Haven, Connecticut, Bridgeport, Danbury, all reporting freezing rain. Treacherous traveling there. A cold rain, though, mainly for JFK, LaGuardia, and heading out towards Islip, Long Island. But still be careful this morning heading in across the LIE. Then we have reports, too, of some freezing rain around Pittsburgh and across the Ohio Valley. Strong winds continue to buffet the coast. We've had some wind gusts this morning around Montauk Point, Long Island, even down through Salisbury, Maryland, gusts over 40 miles an hour. With that strong eastern-northeasterly fetch coming in from off the Atlantic, a possibility for coastal flooding, so advisories have been posted. And heavy surf, too, right along the coast. Some of the seas today could be building between 15 to 20 feet. Now, another aspect of the storm system has been locally heavy snows for parts of the Appalachians and parts of the Ohio Valley. And Cincinnati was rather hard hit. Our pictures show you that we've had as much as a foot of snow for some areas around Cincinnati, and that nearly broke a 24-hour record for snowfall for the city. We're expecting a little bit more snowfall today, so definitely some tough travels across parts of the Ohio Valley. Now, the good news, though, most of the snow today will stay rather light, as we were mentioning. Snowfall totals typically ranging between 1 and 3 inches. However, as you head over towards southern sections of Indiana, there's a possibility of 3 to 6 inches of snow, and winter storm warnings remain posted for southern Indiana for the chance for more ice and snow.